are listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you are listening. This podcast has been a passion project of mine since 2016. On this episode, I head out to Stillwater, Minnesota to visit Jeremy King and Evan Ogaard, two of the brewers at Liftbridge Brewery. Liftbridge is one of the OGs in the Minnesota craft beer scene, and they've created quite a reputation for being able to deliver craft beer drinkers beers that are high in quality and innovation. Of course, during this time of year, one cannot help but think about Liftbridge's iconic mini donut beer, as we are smack dab in the midst of the Minnesota State Fair. So let's head out to Stillwater for my interview with Liftbridge Brewers Jeremy King and Evan Ogaard. Cheers. Okay, welcome to another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. My name is Dan Bobian, and I'm sitting in the Liftbridge tap room out here in Stillwater, Minnesota. And actually, I think it was about this time last year that I interviewed Chip and Ryan about their Oktoberfest Fiesta del Pretzel out at the State Fair. So it's always fun to be in the Liftbridge tap room. This is the very first tap room I ever visited in Minnesota, thanks to a Groupon. And we got probably what would be the 2024 monetary equivalent of $16,782 worth of stuff. And it's a miracle this place is still open after that Groupon. I mean, my God, we walked out of here with a growler, a shirt, a pint glass. We got a flight, a tour. Some guy named Greg gave me a back rub behind tank number 4.
Yeah, he doesn't work here anymore.
That's interesting because I thought like this guy was like a Jedi master of massage, and I don't know. It's a shame he's no longer here. But luckily, I'm not just here talking by myself. I'm being joined by Jeremy and Evan.
Hello.
So thank you, gentlemen, so much for having me into your place of work. Let's start off. I want to kind of do a little bit of an intro. So tell me your name, your role, your favorite beer style to drink, and your favorite Liftbridge seasonal.
Okay, so I'm Evan. I am a brewer here at Liftbridge. I've been brewing for 5 years, a little over 5 years now. I'm been with Liftbridge for a little over a year. And I would say historically, my favorite style of beer has been a red IPA. It's tough to find nowadays, unfortunately. Yeah. I love that combination of bitterness and the hops and a huge malty backbone to go with it.
Right on.
Then I'd say for seasonal Liftbridge, I'd go with the Irish Coffee Stout.
Bingo. That'd be my answer too.
That's great. We're on the same page.
So sorry to interrupt real quick. Evan, you've been here. Where have you previously brewed? Have you previously brewed anywhere?
Yeah, I used to brew for Prize Brewing in Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
For about 4 years.
Nice.
Then I came over to Liftbridge May of last year.
Nice. Okay, cool. And Jeremy.
That's me.
The joke with Jeremy King and I is we never planned to be in the same spot at the same time. Yet, we've probably had some really good times hanging out at least 6 or 7 times. Just because the universe is like, you know what? I got to put these two jackwagons in the same room and see what gets broken.
It opens doors and leads you down pathways. I don't think we even have each other's phone numbers or anything.
No.
So I don't think we physically could plan if we had to.
Anytime I want to hang out with Jeremy, I write a little note in a bottle and I chuck it in Lake Como. And miraculously, 2 weeks later, we bump into each other.
And I'm like, where's my homing pigeon? How come it didn't come back? Well, I'm Jeremy King. I'm the head brewer here at Liftbridge since November of 2023. I drink a lot of lagers, particularly light lagers. Give me a Pilsner and I'm happy. One of my favorite drinks at Liftbridge is Lime Time.
Oh,
For sure.
I happen to be drinking that very same thing right now.
Oh, me too.
Yowza.
Cheers.
It's hard not to choose that one in the middle of summer. It's
Right.
every single day, it's like, I got to go with another Lime Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have to order at the bar now. The bartenders just know.
Let's spend 15 minutes. Let's send back another one.
Yep.
Nice. Previous to your employment here at Liftbridge, where else have you brewed?
Yeah, I've got a storied history, I guess.
A storied history. Some would say legendary.
I'll be back in
Legendary,
5 minutes.
That is my middle name.
Historically legendary?
Yeah,
I thought it
that's
was
right.
Todd.
There's a hyphen in there.
Oh.
Toddly legendary. Yeah, so in previous work, I guess I got my start over in Canal Park up in Duluth. That was my first professional brewing job. I had been working for Northern Brewer Homebrewer Supply before that down in the Milwaukee area. And then from Canal Park, I got picked up by Castle Danger when they were doing that major expansion from their little 3-barrel system up to their 30 in 2 harbors. And I worked for them for a number of years and got them just ramped up and situated to be where they're at now. And then after Castle Danger, I moved into St. Paul and worked for Urban Growler for a short stint.
Yeah, that's right. That was the first time I had you on the podcast.
That's right.
Way back when.
The good old days.
The good old days.
And now we're in the good nowadays.
The good nowadays. Those were the good old days. Before hazy IPAs were infecting everything. No,
Right?
just kidding.
They didn't even exist.
That's right.
But between then and now, I had a job with a manufacturing company out of New Orleans called Craft Kettle that would design brewing equipment. And so my job was to help places design brewing spaces and actually design equipment to fit spaces.
Yeah.
And then train folks how to brew and fire up equipment for the first time.
That's really cool. I remember several instances where we had not planned to hang out but found ourselves in a brewery, and you would look at the brew system and just like you'd be pointing out things. You'd be like, you see that bend in the pipe? That's totally unnecessary. And just like, I was like, wow, I am in the presence of greatness.
Yeah, I'm
you
terrible
just
to drink
know
with.
so much, so many things. And I think everybody should have the gift and opportunity to spend at least an afternoon with you at a brewery, hanging out, drinking, because
Ooh.
you'll learn a lot about beer and you'll learn a lot about like equipment.
Should we do an auction?
Yeah. Yes. This is a great idea. I could make this one of the Patreon tiers. Be like, hey, if you're willing to give $1,000 a month, you too can spend an afternoon with Jeremy. You won't know when, but when you see his face, you'll know the clock is ticking. Liftbridge has been around for a long while. And I guess if I know there's some, Minnesota craft beer historian nerds who like to listen to this show, and they'll like to correct me because they will say that, I in my mind, I think of the craft beer era in Minnesota is broken down into 2 chunks, kind of like the before the taproom bill and after the taproom bill. Some people will argue that they'll break it down, but for me, in my simple brain, that's how I like to think about it. So Liftbridge is one of, like, in my mind, the OGs of the taproom era. Opened in 2008, and here we are sitting in 2024, August. I think a lot of different breweries have a box to check under an umbrella of different categories. For instance, Uda Pills would check out their lean heavily into lagers. That's a lager brewery. Arbeiter's a lager brewery. Barrel Theory is like a hazy IPA brewery. What is Liftbridge? What box does Liftbridge check?
I'm going to let Jeremy start.
What? I was going to say, do you want to handle that, Evan?
I would say Liftbridge is mostly about mainstays and long-running traditions with the brands that we've had for 15 years. Farm Girl being one of them, and Hop Dish. You can find Hop Dish in a lot of places, and now Mango Blonde is our best seller, and you can find that absolutely everywhere. And we have a lot of plans for Mango Blonde, and things that kind of build off of that, but I think it's not exactly our plan isn't to go out and put out a new beer every week and be like, hey, we've got a new one-off hazy. It's not really ever been the way this place is operated. It's more about like building our customer base and like really rewarding them with quality beer time and time again.
Yeah.
And I would say like we're very deeply rooted in the community here in Stillwater. Like we, just like our supporters support us, we support them as well. So like if you go around Stillwater, I mean, Lift Ridge is literally everywhere. There's some places that you could easily mistake for being a Lift Ridge tap room, given how much swag and things that they have all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's so like this brewery has just always been ingrained with the people that are around it, and so you see that in some of the beers where like there's these old mainstays, but times be a changing, and there's a lot more coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, and we're going to get into that a little later. To be open for this long, as drinking habits and different like economic factors, both predictable and unpredictable, a place has to have a solid foundation, but also be nimble to be able to change. As you've been around the Lift Bridge culture, what is it about this place that has had, for lack of a better term, the staying power to still be thriving?
I think it's a complete willingness to be versatile with the kinds of products that we put out. A lot of people locally know us for our beer, and at the State Fair, obviously, Mini Donut has been a huge hit for, over a decade now. But then on the other side of things, like, we very quickly adapt to, hey, seltzers, hard seltzers are exploding right now. Let's start making those. And then also we sell cream soda and root beer and ginger ale and black cherry soda on the side. Like, these are all other products that we're making. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what about canned cocktails? And then we came out with Grape Ape, and that also exploded. So
which is
like,
delicious, by the way.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Very excited about that one and other future canned cocktails that we're going to be putting out. And it's that sort of thing where it's like, well, this is what people want right now, and we like making these things, so let's go do that, until something else comes along where it's like, well, maybe we should do that instead. It's not like we're stuck just going, well, we make beer and that's what we do, I think that's kind of why this company has been able to stick around so long and just kind of roll with whatever punches are coming its way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Evan has just said. And one thing that's really important for this company is like the innovation team that we built. Like, we literally have a group of people that meet weekly or bi-weekly to literally talk about new products and what should we be doing next and what should we be making next, what's working for us, what's not, what do we think is the next thing to go after. That's constantly a conversation here.
Yeah. I want to stay on this for a bit. So talk me through how that process works. And I guess what I'm curious about is, like, what's the point? What's that sweet spot of knowing when something, okay, maybe we need to like change this around because we've seen a dip in taproom sales, or is that kind of like the canary in the coal mine that you look to first, or how do you know that, okay, we need to switch it up? What's the telltale sign? Yeah,
so there's a lot of factors that you got to pay attention to, and like probably the most important one is the consumer, and like the loudest thing that a consumer is saying is sales, right? That's the loudest thing. But even before you see any sort of dip in a sale, you're going to be hearing things from the market. Like, people will actually make commentary in the tap room, or maybe a distributor might come back and say, hey, somebody said this. And so like there's actually a lot of input coming long before the sales dip.
Okay.
And so if you're actually paying attention, which we very much pay attention to that stuff and react very swiftly to things like that, that's really helping us guide us and go, oh, we should pay attention to this, and we might want to just be at the ready to pivot if necessary. And so like we're always listening to what people are saying, always.
Okay. Yeah, because if you wait to see the dip in sales,
It's too late.
you waited too long.
Yeah.
So once you notice something, or if somebody has a good idea, what's that process like? And how many, like, is this just, back of house brewing staff? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Like, who's all at the table?
Yeah, so our innovation team includes people from every department, actually. And so the concept is it shouldn't be driven necessarily by somebody that, loves raspberry sours. I'm looking at Evan.
Wow.
But if that's,
Calling me out.
if you've got that one person and then, their production staff, and that's the innovation team, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get this one thing that's one guy's preference. So instead of doing that, we're bringing in talent from across the board and then getting everybody's input. And the team, when they're coming up with concepts, are not worried about things like dollars or how much it costs, or like, ooh, is that hard to do? Is it easy to do? Is it feasible? Yes, that's one thing we consider. But we then have representatives from every department. And so then once we come up with a concept or an idea, then the details start to be driven out by individual departments.
Okay.
So we just kind of come up with the concept, how we want to do it, and then other departments handle all the actual tasks and actual grunt work.
I'm curious to hear you say that dollars are not the first thing, because conventional wisdom would say it's a business that's selling something for a certain price needs to be able to make it for less. But and a lot of breweries that I talk to, brewers and owners, are like, well, we could do these all the time, but it's just such an expensive beer to make, so that's why it's like a special thing. But that's not necessarily a major obstacle here.
Right. So we want the product to be first correct in how we want it.
Yeah.
Right. So there is, especially in years late, prices of everything have just skyrocketed and just increased and increased. Raw materials are more expensive, labor's more expensive, everything is more expensive. But for us, dollar amount isn't the bottom line. It's not. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to make outstanding beers and other products that people really enjoy and that we ourselves enjoy. So we're driving first for the drink, and then we backfill with everything else.
Sure. And to me, that's the clear connection between the innovation, creativity part and the quality part, because I can make a grilled cheese sandwich with Wonder Bread and Kraft singles. It'll get the job done. I'll still eat 3 of them, but I would much rather use sourdough bread from the bakery down the street and some really nice Fontina and aged cheddar. That's going to be much better, and I'll still eat 3 of them, but then I'll, so that's important. It's good to hear. I was like, oh wow, that's because usually that's this beer's getting expensive. Let's dial it back before it's even made, and you're like, oh, it was totally worth it to do it this way. So interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
There's definitely some times where it's Randy, our director of operations. He used to be the head brewer, and he's still got his hands on everything all the time, and he'll come in and be like, hey, we should do this, and it's just we're gonna do it because he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it's fun things like that, and it always turns out great, and it's stuff that's well, how much does it cost? Well, that's not always the concern, and it's more of let's make the product that we want to make, and then I would say it's kind of boiled down to eventually okay, maybe we don't need this in this, maybe we don't need this bag of malts or this hop or whatever, and we say, okay, if it's unnecessary, then we can take it out. But overall, it's nice to be able to be making products that's focused on the end result.
Yeah. So obviously, this is a production brewery. Yes, there's a tap room, but most of your volume is sent through the loading dock to accounts, to liquor stores and things like that. Does that make it tricky to try to do how do you there's no R&D, do you have you must have a way to produce smaller batches of things. But I know that like with Summit for a while, that's kind of the catch-22 that they found themselves in is like we've got these beautiful, pristine copper kettles, and that's great for 900 barrels a time. But like we can't do a 10 barrel like, oh, let's see if this flies. How do you work around that?
We do have a small 5-barrel tank, so we're able to brew on our 15-barrel system and fill that 5-barrel tank with kind of like one-off things that we are experimenting with, or if it's something that we're making for a charity, things like that, we'll use that smaller 5-barrel tank for it. And that kind of allows us to have, a product that we can put in the tap room and it's not going to stay there for an entire year,
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of tricky with our 15-barrel system. Trying to get those test batches done in the 5-barrel because there is a lot of waste associated with that because we don't have a 5-barrel brewing system to be able to brew into that tank. So it's a little bit mismatched, but we are able to do like more fun experiments like we'll do a hazy IPA and we're not wasting 15, 30 barrels of, hops in order to find out, like, is this the way that we want this to be,
Okay. That's interesting. I've heard all sorts of stories about how do you get, the brew team to play nice with the marketing team and the sales team because, you could argue that everybody kind of has, like, a different kind of lane that they want to drive in. How do you, as brewers, kind of play nice in the sandbox?
Well, I think ultimately, like, we are all on the same team, and I think everybody here recognizes that, and like that's one of our, core values here, is the team, and so like everybody really does ultimately work together, and I've definitely seen infighting at other places, but it's not so much a thing here. Like it's a very unique crew that we have on the whole. And one thing that has come up multiple times is if you look at how each of us dresses, every single person here dresses slightly different. We all have our own style.
Yeah.
Right? Every single one of us. And that's true for music as well. But we all come together just sort of like a great melting pot, really, to make things happen. So it's been a really wonderful experience for me.
Yeah. So one of the things that, as we were talking before I hit the record button, is there's a lot of innovation that happens here. August in Minnesota, I think everybody thinks about the State Fair. And ever since Liftbridge came out with their mini donut beer, in my mind, Liftbridge is linked to the State Fair because of that beer. I know that's not the only State Fair beer that you've done. What is it about the State Fair and Liftbridge that is such a nice relationship? And how does that foster so many creative ideas?
It's hard to say. It's been such a long-standing relationship. I think that's kind of what has helped drive everything that we do for the State Fair is that, when Mini Donut came out and with how popular it was, we were able to, as a company, really solidify that relationship with the State Fair and the organizers and the vendors there and start offering more and more things over time to kind of broaden these specific brands that you can only find there and you can't get them, any other time of year, even in the tap room. And I think it's really kind of that excitement that builds all of our fan base that goes out to specifically look for Liftbridge products probably this year more than ever.
This year we've taken it to a whole new level where we've released 26 new unique products that have gone out to the State Fair, whether that be beer, slushies, or we even have a wine product out there, like wine spritz. So like all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a very heavy focus on the State Fair this summer, and I think we're increasing our volume over last year by 30% or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's even more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, more than that. Yeah. So I feel it in my muscles and in my bones.
In your loins.
Yes.
That's
Especially the loins.
The loins. That's I get. There's a phrase here at Lift Bridge. In August, we get the mini donut loins. What? I remember the first couple years when that beer came out, they ran out. Like, there would have been no good way to predict how well that beer would go over. And I remember the first couple years, like, I think it was like it didn't make it to the end of the fair where there was still some. And then the next year they like, okay, we made this much more. And then still would run out. And when does that process, this is to me mind-blowing because if you've come up with 26 things that you're sending that way, that means that there were a lot of other ideas that had to be like cut off. Like how much of your bandwidth is like put towards the state fair, and what is that process like?
It's a tremendous amount of effort. And I mean, we start planning pretty much as soon as the state fair is done. And like even right now, we're thinking about next year. And like our formal processes will probably begin in January even for some planning. And like that's really the key is to get a good plan in place to be able to produce all of these things. Like we're a production facility with only so many tanks, right? So
right, yeah. I guess that's my biggest thing.
We have to allow for the space and the time it takes to actually either blend something together or brew something and then get it packaged as well. So like we have to account for all of that time, yet still have fresh product out to the fair. So there's a whole lot of coordination. And so this is, again, where we're leaning on all of our departments to really coordinate and just get, this facet, like the marketing facet, they're working on it at such and such a time to be ready by this date. And then it turns into like, okay, then production needs to happen. So ordering has to occur at such and such a point. And just it's a very highly coordinated situation.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then I guess another question I have just came to me, but like, brewery ownership, what kind of a role do they play in all of it? Or are they just like, all right, when you've got the list, show us, and then we'll like give you the thumbs up or thumbs down, or maybe then it's like, we need to turn our keys to Operation Doppelbock and just brew it and just be like.
Well, I give a ton of credit to Brad Glynn, our CEO and one of the owners. He's definitely the forefront of all the blending, all the flavors that we come up with for our, these slushies that we're making and these different blends that we're doing, because he's getting in the lab, this year and just like taking X amount of alcohol base and adding in these flavors and this much sugar and whatever it takes. And then all of a sudden, like, I get a recipe and I go, okay, I'm making 60 barrels of this thing called, mango tango slushy. And then we get all the flavors in, and everything's done. It's 60 barrels of this product, and we take a picture of it and make a slushy out of it. And I go, holy crap, he did it. Like,
that's so cool.
And it's just over and over. And so like him being, an owner and the CEO, and then also being so hands-on with all of this state fair stuff, it's really nice to see and really helps motivate us going like, hey, this guy it's him leading us, and it's him taking the ownership of it, and we're all working together to put that product out at the end of the day. So it's definitely all like an intertwined sort of feel.
Yeah. Are you at liberty to say any of the state fair things that you've got in the hopper for this year?
Oh yeah, we've posted about it on all of our social media. I think we were waiting for the state fair to officially put their post out, and then we dropped it the next day or something like that. But it's a long list.
Yeah.
We've got mini donut, of course. We've got our key lime pie beer as well. We've got a beer called Golden Spike that has prickly pear and mezcal flavor.
Ooh.
And
that one's at Frontier.
Got to taste that
Strongly
one.
recommend.
Very good. We've got a Manhattan cocktail on tap at the Hideaway. We've got Mango Tango Slushy. It's mango flavored. We've got Blue Lemonade Slushy. We've got Tutti Frutti Slushy, Strawberry Daiquiri Slushy, Salted Caramel Milkshake. We've got
Salted caramel milkshake.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds so good.
It was actually a big hit last year, so they definitely wanted to re-up that for this year.
Okay.
And we've got our mudslide.
We have a mudslide, yep.
There's a couple of lemonades, and there's a pink lemonade, a blue raspberry lemonade.
There's our Paloma cocktail.
Yep. There's a Cosmo.
Yep. We have Great Ape, which is our 5% alcohol version of the Grape Ape, specifically for the State Fair.
So last year, was that the first time that you debuted the Grape Ape?
I believe it was. I think the State Fair was the debut of Grape Ape, and they called it Great Ape, and then after the fair, we started making batches to put into cans, and the name was Grape Ape.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the cans it's 7% alcohol, and then at the fair it's 5%.
Okay. I remember specifically last year I went to the fair with Bree Smith. She's a brewer at Modest and a member of Brewing Change Collaborative. Her Instagram handle is Grape Ape Gradient. She's obsessed, and in my opinion, the foremost authority on grape apes and how they should taste. And she's like, we have to try the Lift Bridge Grape Ape beer. And I'm like, okay. I'm always skeptical a little bit because I'm old and cranky, and I don't always get the recommended 8 hours of sleep a night. And I was like, all right, we'll try it, but you might have to drink most of it. And we got it. I'm like, holy crap. This is, they nailed it. This is wonderful. It tastes exactly like the cocktail or the shot. I guess there's you don't really see people drinking like a cocktail. You're supposed to pound that thing as fast as you can. And I know that because I hang out with Bree, and she gives you all the, she's like, you're doing it wrong. Or you're like, yeah, you got to hit it, boom.
Well, you're welcome to do that with our Grape Ape.
Yes.
I will.
Go ahead, pound it.
I will do that.
Well. I looked back at my photos, and it just so happened to be that I was having a going away party for when I was coming to Lift Bridge. It was my last day at Prize, and we all went to somewhere in northeast Minneapolis, and we had Grape Apes.
Oh, yeah.
Little did I know how much Grape Ape I was going to be making when I came to Lift Bridge.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's wild. And so is that now, after the State Fair, you released the Grape Ape Seltzer. That came out, I want to say around January or February, thereabouts.
I believe,
yeah,
it was middle of winter.
Yep.
So had you already kind of had plans to make the seltzer, or was that a result of overwhelmingly positive feedback from the State Fair?
Yeah, so from the State Fair, that was really the driving force to pursue that further. And then, little did we know what the full reaction would be, and it's really taken off very well for us. So,
Yeah.
We are actually about to, I think I can say, we're starting to distribute nationally with Grape Ape, as well as some variety packs of our cocktail series, along with our sodas as well. So that's a whole new foray for us as well.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a strong response here that we feel like we should share it with the world.
Yeah, because at previous to any larger expansion as far as a distribution footprint, it's Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas.
Yep.
And that's it? Okay.
So just recently we've expanded into Illinois.
Okay.
And then there's several states coming down the pipeline.
That's exciting. Wow, that's really cool. We brewed a beer, Brewing Change Collaborative brewed a beer at Modest, and at the release party, somebody showed up with a couple 12-packs of Grape Ape Seltzer. Well, after I got done crying tears of joy, we housed quite a few cans of that. It's so good. It's so good. So do you brew the seltzers here, or does that happen in Richmond?
All of our cocktails are made here.
Okay.
Our seltzers are made in New Richmond.
Yeah, the seltzer base is made in New
Okay.
Richmond. Yeah, so we make a high alcohol base, and then we ship it over here to Stillwater, where then we use it in product.
Okay. How often is there like a separate brew team over in New Richmond, or do people like kind of go back and forth and take
Yeah,
shifts?
we've got one fellow over there. His name is Jimmy Ogle. Shout out to him.
I think it's Ogley.
Ogley?
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 Jaime is, I don't know.
Jaime Ogley.
We just call him J-Dog because we don't really know what his name is.
That's a safe bet.
We don't
Yeah.
see him enough, right? That's it's unfortunate. But yeah, so he's running everything over there, and so his sole job is to produce that seltzer base.
Okay.
And so yeah, he kind of works all alone out there, but
Just him.
yep. But he's a large part of this company, and like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of weight to bear.
Yeah. So currently, how many different seltzer offerings do you have?
That's a good question. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the exact number. We do have our variety 4-pack of canned cocktails, which includes the Grape Ape, the Paloma, our Cosmo, and which one?
Lemon Drop.
Lemon Drop.
Okay.
That one's also very good.
Yeah.
And then we have our seltzers that are Northwoods juice box.
Yep.
Jukebox. And
Blue agave margarita.
yep, and then we also have our bomb hard seltzer.
Okay. Some people would say that your brewery, why are you brewing so many seltzers? What's your response to that?
I would say it's what people want. It's what people ask for, and when we, make a good product in that, in those brands, and people respond positively, there's no reason for us not to. I look at it more of a, we're a beverage company. We make beer and we focus on beer, but we also make a ton of other great products. Like people ask us, like, why are you making a ginger ale now? It's like, well, ginger ale is great, and you can mix it with liquor and make some pretty great cocktails with it. Like it's all about beverage focus.
Yeah. It's I mean, at the end of the day, you need to make money. You need to, and it's a perfect segue into my next question that we're going to get to after the break because I need a refill. We're at Lift Bridge Brewing, and we're having a lovely conversation with Jeremy
Hello.
and Evan. So we'll be back in just a second. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you are enjoying a 1 pint stand. My aim is to spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A 1 pint stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you'll probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow a 1 pint stand on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I also recently started a TikTok account because I was tired of Charles calling me a boomer for not having one. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever it is you listen to us because that makes it easier for other people to find the podcast. If you want to be a supporter of the podcast with some extra change you found in your couch cushions, I started a Patreon. There are 3 different monthly levels of support and priced at $1, $3, and $5 levels. If you pledge at the $3 pint hoister level or the $5 month keg stander level, you get some pretty cool perks. So go to patreon.com and search a 1 pint stand to check it out. One thing I should note, because it is a beer podcast, the logo is kind of like faded out, makes it seem like it's a nefarious podcast, but it's just a beer conversation. So the fun thing is we already have 7 supporters, and I'm just excited about what that means for the show. If you like reading about craft beer, check out my written work on a1pintstand.com. I'm starting to post more travel things and move over some fan favorite pieces from when I wrote at Beer Ploma. So I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, back to the show.
How about a beer?
All right, we're back. And I'm staring down the barrel at a pint of grape ape seltzer, and it's delicious. At first, I thought Jeremy was pouring me an entire pitcher all to myself, but they just do that for get the lines right. So we're back for half part number 2 of this wonderful. I'll tell you what, you wanna take the blues out of a Monday, get your buns down to Liftbridge and hang out with these two fine gentlemen. So I'm at Liftbridge Brewing Company, being joined by Jeremy and Evan, 2 of the brewers here at Liftbridge. Before the break, we were kind of talking about why so many seltzers, and Evan was explaining that that's what people want to drink, and I think that was a nice little jumping off point into kind of a greater question, kind of pulling the focus wider out from Liftbridge into the entire craft beer drinking community. People's drinking habits have changed big time. And I think that one of the things we talked about in the first half was, despite the fact that Liftbridge is a production brewery, you've been able to really change at the right times to kind of stay with what your patrons and what drinkers want, to make sure that, like, everybody coming through the doors of the tap room or going to the liquor store or seeing your handles on tap at their favorite watering holes finds something that they can have. What's challenging about that from a brewing standpoint? Jeremy's eyes just rolled out in the back of his head. He's now brandishing a machete.
I only have 2 machetes, so this is my good one. Staying relevant is always a challenge, and staying ahead of that relevancy curve is very difficult. And so a lot of times you find folks trying to ride a tail wave, right? But like if you're, I forget who said it, but if you're reacting to a trend, you miss the boat.
Yeah.
And so like you really have to be setting trends, which is something that's really nice with like our grape ape here. It's really hit the market at a very sweet spot and just has taken off. And like, there's not only coming with new products, but how do you incorporate those into your already busy production schedule?
Yeah.
And like you only have so much tank space, you only have so much time, and so it really takes some planning. Which again, we have to shout out to Randy for everything that he does here, where he's doing a lot of the plotting and
sure.
Looking at what tanks are full when and how to slip in something new.
Yeah.
And like so, it's it keeps slipping back to like our whole team is clicking together, and so like every part of this machine is moving forward together, and really trusting in each other to make things go. I don't know, Evan, if you want to add something.
I would say it's definitely an ever-changing thing, and sometimes it feels like something's changing or something's going to happen, and then on the ground level we find out about it like 3 days ahead of time. It's like, we got to do this. We got to make a small test keg of this, so that we can get it to a customer for to try it out and see if we want to make larger batch of this or if we need to change things about the recipe. And it's just an ever-changing thing with this industry where it's like, well, maybe people don't like hazies as much as they used to. Let's go this way, lagers and pilsners are starting to come back, and there was that pastry stout craze, for the longest time, and we have. Do we still have on tap? I can't remember. We made a pastry stout that was peanut butter and banana this past winter, and it was awesome. It was delicious, and people who tried it loved it. But it's like people aren't going out and trying to find them anymore.
Right.
So it's like even though it's
that
a great
kind of
thing,
wave is kind of subsided a bit.
It's not something that you can build a brewery up, on anymore.
Yeah.
Based on we're going to be this kind of brewery.
Well,
you kind of just have to keep adapting.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think any of us wants to summon the reanimated corpse of Wilford Brimley, knowing how much sugar is in those things. I mean, he'll be out. He's going to take your good machete and have his way with us. How do you handle? I mean, I think since the pandemic, a lot of people have. Not only have they changed what they drink, but a lot of people have moved away from alcohol for various reasons. Most related to better mental health. I think people developed some not so great habits during the pandemic. What do you have for people who maybe have been fans of Liftbridge since they started, and now they have decided to either take a break from alcohol or eliminate alcohol from what they imbibe, but they still want to feel part of this community. Like you mentioned earlier, this is kind of for all intents and purposes the Stillwater neighborhood tavern. I mean, there's a lot of people that come in here that this is where they go. How do you make sure that what's on tap is inclusive for everybody?
Well, we've always definitely had our root beer and our cream soda and also the black cherry soda. And then just this past winter, we added in our ginger ale as a brand new product. And we're looking to go national with that as well. And then this might be a cut point. Are we allowed to say what's coming next year? Or not?
Things are coming next year.
Things are coming next year.
All right.
We'll just say this. So, the non-alcoholic products is a major focus for us. And part of that market is the THC seltzers that, recently Minnesota changed laws to allow for the production of THC beverages. And so we jumped in on that train. The city of Stillwater, there was a little bit of trouble at first for Liftbridge specifically, where the city just didn't allow that production. But we, just sat down with the city and talked them through everything, and they ended up changing laws to allow for it to occur. So we've jumped on that train, and you'll see some new innovation on that side of things as well. And then there's some other non-alcoholic products coming down the pipeline as well.
Okay. What was the big reticence on the city's viewpoint of maybe not wanting to have that?
I'm not really sure on all the details, but it was just the feds are letting things be governed at the state level, and then the state level is letting things be dictated by municipalities. So every area has its own kind of thing to it. So it was just a thing that I think the city was just cautious, and just wanted to make sure. It's a wonderful city, right, and very clean, very well kept. And so there was concern with it being THC, and they just weren't quite sure what to do with it at first. But then watching other areas very successfully allow the sale of THC products, they were like, okay, this does work, and it is safe and all that.
Yeah, I mean, and Stillwater wasn't the only place that wanted to kind of put a pause, and it wasn't just because I think it was just like, well, how is this going to work? Because it's a major shift, especially in Minnesota. But that's interesting. So you've got all these new things coming down the pike, exciting things, expanded distribution, 26 new things at the state fair. They're not new, but 26 things, just from
different products. Yep.
So that's quite impressive, because I think I don't remember the exact number. When every year the state fair comes out and says we're debuting or we're going to have however many 85 new things to try. You've got 26 of those items.
Yeah,
that's got to feel pretty good.
Well, someone, a good friend of mine, posted a link and sent it to me. He was like, "Hey, check out all these new things at the state fair." And I was like, "Well, go to the bottom of each one and see how many of them say Liftbridge, and you'll understand how my summer was."
Yeah. So personally, which are the ones that each of you are the most excited for people to try?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think for me, the Manhattan cocktail turned out way better than I thought it was going to. I think a kegged cocktail Manhattan, that's hard to do.
Sure.
It's not gonna taste like a Manhattan. And I tried it when it was all said and done, and I was like, wow, that's actually really sneakily good. Like,
Okay.
and that's gonna be at the Hideaway, and then also the strawberry daiquiri slushy was definitely one of my favorites because I just love strawberry. So
Yeah.
For
How about
me,
you?
I mean, I'm looking at that caramel milkshake, that salted caramel milkshake. Like that thing, it's so good.
So when you say salted caramel milkshake, that's
We mean like a milkshake with salted caramel in it
and booze.
and booze.
okay.
Yeah.
Where can I find that? Because that sounds really good. Okay,
If you check out our social media, you can definitely
Okay.
find it. We've got maps posted of where all of our beverages are at and everything.
It's really hard to remember.
That's
So-
my thing.
like-
I woefully underplan every time I go to the state fair. And I'm like, what? I heard of this, and I'm like, half the time I get the brewery wrong. I'm like, what? I know it was like a cookie something, but I don't know who made it. I don't know where. And then I'm just like frustrated because it's like, you can't really like sit down because, there's the people with the fucking double wide strollers and they're rolling over. They got kids on leashes. It's just like crazy. You can't really take a moment. So you need to have a plan. So,
Oh, and I can't drink while sitting down. I'm like a horse.
if I had a nickel for every time.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually want to ride a horse to Frontier. Very Western.
That would be bold.
And that's another one that I'm very excited about. Is the beer Golden Spike,
Okay.
which is with prickly pear and some mezcal.
Okay. So what does prickly pear do in a beer? Because it's a very unique ingredient.
Right. It's much more popular in the South and the West, Western area. It's a very fruity, similar to like a pear that we'd be accustomed to, but it's also got this very significant floral note to it. It also has turned the beer slightly pink.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very beautiful.
And so how does the mezcal enter into it?
So it's flavored to have that little smoky mezcal flavor.
Okay.
And it gives sort of the vibe of a margarita.
Okay.
Very similar.
Of all the 26, God, that's so crazy to say out loud. Some breweries don't come out with 26 different things to drink in a calendar year. Yet you all have done it for the state fair. What was the trickiest thing to work with, or what was like? They're like, we want to do this style. Now make this flavor work. What was the biggest puzzle, most difficult puzzle to solve in that regard?
Yeah, so that was, so with each of our vendors, we want to fit their theme if they have one.
Yeah.
And then, so the Frontier is like this Western type theme. So we wanted to stick with something like that. But if you think about beer or any alcohol from the old days, the Old West,
Yeah.
like,
Well, we're going to need
out of a
80
dusty,
gallons
gross,
of spittoon juice.
Just disgusting, right?
Yeah.
We're like, we don't want to do that, but we do want to give that essence of, and so something like prickly pear, which is a desert flower, really plays into that. And so, we just kind of consider what each group wants, and some groups come at us with, we want this.
Okay.
And then some others are like, I don't know, what do you think? And some folks may just have an idea, a concept, that then we help develop that recipe for them on their behalf.
That was going to be my next question. Like, do you come to the state fair, like, we've got these things, or is it with, like, each place?
Yeah, we come with a blank slate and
Okay.
say, we can do whatever you want.
That's nuts.
It gets us into trouble.
Does that give
sometimes,
you
but not
like
so much
anxiety?
trouble that we
Because
can't
it's like,
make it.
I
okay,
haven't slept in like
maybe
6
there's like
months.
some hunyuk that has this crazy idea and doesn't understand how liquids are made. Like, what? Like, it's okay. We want this.
Well, I think this is kind of like why vendors have gravitated towards us over the years and why we're so successful in creating these beverages. Like we can do that.
Yeah.
And then we, nail it. And I think it's the whole reason, like we've been saying all summer, like people ask us, oh, this brewery's at the Blue Barn and this brewery's at Ballpark Cafe. Where are you guys at? And it's much easier to just say where we're not at.
Yeah,
at the
we're,
state
we're
fair.
everywhere. Yeah. That's really interesting. So kind of getting back to, when I asked, like, what's your, how Uda Pils is to lagers and Barrel Theory is to hazy IPAs, you said mainstays, but also I think we need to say that there's really, you're the utility. You can do everything, and you can't say that about a lot of breweries. Some are just equipped to do certain things, and some are just not equipped to do certain things. But to have that innovation, that ability to kind of like, okay, tell us your idea, we're going to make it work. You have to have some pretty smart people to do that, and I think that's really. I'm just like, just hearing that all of this stresses me out because I'm like, I don't love like, okay, tell me what you want and I'll try to do it. I'm like, no, this is what I'm capable of. Like, here's your option. That's crazy.
And at the same time, we do have our limits. Like we're not making like crab slushies, or anything like that.
Did you say crab slushies?
Yeah,
Slushies.
I've been in places where we've actually brewed beer with crab in it, but I don't want to get into that. But so we do have limits where it has to make sense for us as well. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's our product that we're putting out there, so it has to be consistent with our branding, consistent with our whole take on life and drinking. So we do have our limits, but you play within the sandbox, and there's so many things we can do. It's almost anything.
Yeah. Is there something you're like, I've got this idea for a recipe, just waiting.
Crab slushy, dude.
Crab slushy.
There's no coincidence.
Well, I feel like now is as good a time as any to announce the new partnership between Lift Bridge and Joe's Crab Shack. Everybody loved the Deadliest Catch. Well, that's what it's called, and it's you bring in a pitcher, they give you a crab, and there's a liquid that goes with it. So in addition to a lot of state fair things, I see a lot of your products at Cub Foods. The root beer, cream soda, but you kind of have a unique thing coming out relatively soon with Cub Foods that is not just a soda. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So, we did team up with Cub just recently to make a beer for them that will be sold in their bakeries. We kind of sat around and spitballed about what kind of flavors, so like bakery related, but also like fall type, flavors. And we ultimately settled on apple fritter. So we put together an apple fritter beer. They green lighted it. And then we developed the recipe, and just this past Friday we put it into cans, and then that's going to be going live here early September.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay. I do love a good apple fritter. Where's the best place? So now you're up in Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Is there a bakery up there? I bet if there is, it's probably really good.
Yeah, so you have to actually you're either going into Princeton or down towards like Elk River.
Okay. Evan, where do you live?
I live in West St. Paul.
West St. Paul. I grew up in West St. Paul.
It's a great neighborhood.
Where in West St. Paul?
I live on Annapolis. Right by Tappers. Good old Tappers.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. I grew up on East Thompson.
Okay.
So it's like the house is still there. It's right next to an apartment complex. I was gonna say, growing up in West St. Paul, there was a place called Granny's Donuts.
I think, is it not there anymore?
It's not there anymore. People probably talk about it. If you've got neighbors who have been there a while, ask them about Granny's Donuts, and they'll just like a lone tear will start to leak down their cheek because it was a wild experience. But their apple fritter was just perfect.
Man.
Crispy, fried. The inside, you still had the chunks of apple, soft, like, oh my God, it was amazing. So
I'm not even going to have dinner at this point. I'm just going to go find some apple fritters.
It was so amazing. The only thing I've ever found that comes close is there's a place in Little Canada called the Donut Hut.
I used to live in Little Canada as well.
Okay, yeah.
But
Wow.
I didn't have that one, a donut hut.
Yeah, it's very no frills. It's not like,
I drive past Little Canada every day.
It's very little.
Yeah, careful. I would tell you where Little Manitoba is, but it's not even on a map. But so a good apple fritter is just there's nothing better.
Yeah.
So how do you make an apple fritter drink?
Very carefully.
Just get an immersion blender and a bunch of apple fritters and just go to town, or how does that work?
Well, to be fair, there were a few apple fritters that went into the mash.
Just yeah.
That did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important.
So you get the essence of the apple, or was this just a mistake? You had a clumsy brewery like, hey, I'm multitasking. Whoopsie daisy. I just dropped an apple fritter. Okay, let somebody call Cub. I think we can still salvage this batch and just get on the horn with the bakery department. Also, my next question, is this going to be, you said that it's going to be in the bakery department.
Correct.
In my mind, I had there's two options. A nice end cap with some packaging and something, or hidden in a cake. I'm thinking if you smuggle a file in a cake for somebody who wants to break out of jail, it's going to be something like that.
To anyone that's listening who might work at Cub Foods, please take that idea and use it. Please put our beer in cakes.
Somebody's like, yeah, that would be a really cool, fun little, hey, maybe that's where we get, if you bite into a bundt cake and there's a can, you automatically get to spend an afternoon drinking with Jeremy.
Yay.
And he's going to point out the brew system, where there's wasted bends in the pipes.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half of me going like this.
Oh boy, we have another off flavor. That's exciting.
No, but Cub, yeah. So they'll have it out in their bakery.
Okay.
And it'll be a nice little displays. And they'll do it however they do it. They do great merchandising there. And yeah, so you'll just find it right out on the bakery floor.
Now another question: did you use Cub apple fritters in the beer?
We did.
Okay. Yes, we did.
Yes,
I was gonna say if we use Hallahan's, there might be a lawsuit. Cub also has decent apple fritters.
They do.
They're not as good as Granny's. But we can't have Granny's anymore, so it's a moot point. Well, this has all been really fun. I enjoy, Jeremy, obviously, we go way back. So kind of going back, and this is kind of a nice way to probably wrap up the interview. Jeremy, you've brewed at a lot of different places. What have you found special or unique to Liftbridge?
Yeah, so Liftbridge is very unique for me in my career. So every place that I've stepped into has been new. And in some cases, not even open yet, right? So working with Craft Kettle and the design equipment and, being a brewery design consultant, a lot of that job was firing up brew houses for the very first time. And so it was like disaster brewing all the time, every time. And just, constant, just working with somebody that doesn't know what they're doing and just trying to instill safety and also just the simple process of making beer. So walking into Liftbridge, it's a whole new experience for me where this place is established, right? They've been running for almost 16 years now. Our anniversary party is coming up in September, and but coming into here, I have guys like Evan that has, some experience and knows what he's doing, and I can just trust him to do what he needs to do. Things like standard operating procedures are already in place. And so there's all these things that are just there and already working. So what I get to do is come in and really just help elevate the place.
Yeah.
And really drive, taking quality and instead of maintaining quality, drive quality, right? And just the whole innovation team, I get to be part of that and just create new things and help the vision of this company become reality.
Yeah.
And it's just so very different from everything else I've done. And I get to take all of the disaster scenarios that I've worked through. I've had many, many successes, but I get to take all of those experiences and apply them now in a place that's already clicking. And I'm very excited for the future. Very, very excited.
Yeah. Evan, what do you appreciate most about Liftbridge?
It's a very different experience for me coming from, when I was brewing at Prize, it's a very different brew house from what I'm using here at Liftbridge. And our 15-barrel system, where you're stirring the mash by hand, you're doing everything very much like with your body, and you have to really want to make that a good beer, And so that's kind of like you're a little more connected to the product that you're making. And just on top of that, like the variety of things that we're doing, being with a company that wants to grow, like first and foremost, like goal number one is growth, and seeing the way that we're able to do that through, products outside of beer as well, really gives me a ton of experience with getting to make these products that I never would have thought that I'd be making. And it's really great to be able to be in that scenario and have a bunch of people around me that are also really great at their jobs.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, and in the joy of homebrewing, there is no chapter on apple fritter beer, so that's something cool. Well, this has been really interesting. I feel like I've learned a lot about Liftbridge and what you all are doing, kind of behind the scenes. I like that 26 State Fair beverages thing. It's going to stay with me a while. That's just wild. But I want to thank both of you for sitting down with me. I know you're super busy. And so I just want to really enjoy anytime I get to chat beer with people that are really passionate about it. It definitely kind of refills my pint glass too. So thanks, guys. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you for visiting. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I was, it's always a nice excuse to come have a beer chat and a couple of beers on a Monday. I'll take that every week. So thank you. This has been an on-location episode of A One Pint Stand from Liftbridge Brewing in Stillwater, Minnesota. Cheers. I've wanted to do a podcast with Liftbridge for some time, and I was really happy that we finally got together. There's a really strong team at Liftbridge, from the ownership all the way down to the people pouring beers in the tap room. Nobody has an ego there, and they work really well together. There's a lot of support, and I think that shows in how long that they've been around and the beers that they brew. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned that A One Pint Stand started a Patreon. Well, one of the perks of being a Keg Stander level supporter is a personal thank you to those who are at that level. So I want to give a huge shout out and thank you from the bottom of my glass and heart to our 5 awesome Keg Stander supporters: Daniel Fisher, Todd Fitzloff, Brent Newman, Bree Smith, and Sarah Cry-Valento. I'm flattered that you chose to support the show in the way that you have. You are all incredibly generous, and I hope you know how much this means to me. I honestly didn't think I would get anyone contributing at the Keg Stander level right away, and you amazing folks totally shell-shocked me with your kind act of support. So thank you a million times over for being so wonderful. You're going to notice that we don't have a sponsor for this episode. Well, I would love to change that. If you know a craft beer-centric business or craft beer-adjacent business that's looking to gain some exposure or help out a little local podcast, then maybe have them get in touch with me about the possibility of a sponsorship. I'm willing to work with people to agree on a sponsorship package that is realistic and financially doable. So if you are at a brewery or something like that, I would love to work with you. If you are a multi-million-dollar company selling oven mitts, my DMs are wide open. With that, this has been another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm
you
terrible
just
to drink
know
with.
so much, so many things, and I think everybody should have the gift and opportunity to spend at least an afternoon with you at a brewery, hanging out, drinking, because you'll learn a lot about beer and you'll learn a lot about equipment.
Should we do an auction?
Yeah, yes. This is a great idea. I could make this one of the Patreon tiers. Be like, hey, if you're willing to give $1,000 a month, you too can spend an afternoon with Jeremy. You won't know when, but when you see his face, you'll know the clock is ticking.